Hello, hello, Sir David the Bard. I'm here in the wedgie capital of the world. It's also known as the Mormon Church office building. I got to fly to Oklahoma here. Little Katie's going to take the plane this time. And we call her Little Katie, but she's 382 pounds. So we have to have a run mile that's about 5 miles long, and she has to hop in the front of the plane. And that son of a bitch will finally go into the air, but you know, we don't make fun of Katie. She's as cute as can be. Anyway, someday she'll get a pilot's license. She's just practicing now. The Bard can't afford real pilots. Anyway, I read an article, and I want to give you a little background. I lived in Oklahoma. I don't know if I ever told you guys that, because I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed, okay? When we were really, really poor, which was most of my Mormon life, because I was paying money to the Mormon church, and I had 2 jobs, 14 kids, 6 wives. It was a little expensive to support. Anyway, I lived in Oklahoma because I had to run out of California because the bill collectors were getting smarter and smarter. I put some of my bills, general delivery, Boston, Massachusetts. They couldn't find me for years. Deceased. They wouldn't send him. He's dead. I got a call once from J.C. Penney, and they said, "Is Mr. Bard there? David the Bard, Sir David the Bard?" I said, "No. Did you want to send flowers to his funeral? We've had several calls." No. Never mind. Thank you." Honest in my business dealings when I was a Mormon. Anyway, I lived in Oklahoma. Now let me tell you something about Oklahoma. Everything you've heard is true. I've seen it. You're just hearing it by rumor, but I've seen it. Okay. First of all, when you drive into Oklahoma, the first thing you notice is that dental care, teeth are optional, men and women. It's optional. Many of the women wear muumuus. That's from Hawaii. It is Omar the tent maker's dress. And just because they're 600 pounds, that don't mean nothing in Oklahoma. The men, they wear belt buckles, no teeth, and a cowboy hat. And it says on the belt buckle, Bill. You go into a grocery store and they say, "We need two forms of ID." He puts his driver's license down on the desk, pulls off his belt, and slams it down. "It's Bill. It's Bill Carter. We know it's Bill." Barber shops, almost unheard of. Almost unheard of in Oklahoma. I couldn't find a barber shop much at all in Oklahoma. Now, everybody dresses red in Oklahoma because of the Sooners. I think they're down there in Norman. They just had a tornado down there. I don't know if it hurt the school or not, but they all dress in red and they go down there, and they got nothing to do in Oklahoma except bestiality and the football team. So they all dress in red, and the cars are piled on the freeway in a big long line, and they go in, and flags on the car, and I mean, they just really overdo it because there's nothing to do there. Nothing to do there. I had a horse in Oklahoma, a son of a bitch. He was great to ride, but as soon as I turned to go back to the barn, you know, I'd go down the road a mile or two, and then I'd turn home. He was like 71 years old, but goddamn, he could run to the barn. And I couldn't get down low enough. I was too fat. And he would just put his back right over the rail, and the top of the barn knocked me on the ground. I thought I was going to the hospital once. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stand up. And I said, "Oh, Jesus, help me." Jesus didn't help me. I had to lay there for like 20 minutes. And Jesus was having coffee with Monson, I guess, or Joseph Smith. But the damn horse, it was fun, but you couldn't take the son of a bitch home. You could ride it to California and over the ocean to the Philippines. It'd be a great horse. But goddamn, as soon as you get around the world and it knows where it is, you couldn't pull on it hard enough. Couldn't kick it. Slop. pull on the mane, grab its nose, bitch would just go into the barn like 46 miles an hour, and you go, okay, here we go. Top of the barn hit me in the head. I'd roll off like a weevil and just go round and round. Anyway, that was my horse experience. Now, I wanted to be a farmer in Oklahoma, so I bought 10 head of cattle, real cattle, and they were, I had 10 acres, and the horse ate out there on the 10 acres, and boy, a horse can eat 10 acres without much trouble. And the cows, I would ring a bell, and they'd all come to the barn, and I'd put their food out in the trough. They'd come all in and eat, and they were well behaved. We had a Jersey cow. Now this is a good milk cow. I'm a city boy. I thought you got milk over there at Albertsons or Stater Brothers or wherever, but no. This Jersey cow had to be milked, and I had a friend. And I was lucky to have a friend, because I never have friends. And his name was, I can't remember, damn it, 3 or 4 names. Anyway, I said to him, we gotta milk the cow. And he says, well, do you know how? And I go, hell no, I have no idea. Because when I chase it to pull on his tits, it just runs. Just like the girls at BYU. So anyway, he says, here, let me show you how to grab their tits. I said, okay, I used to be good at this, but not on a cow. So anyway, he showed me how to block the cow in, like a, what do you call those things? You know, every one of you know, I don't. It squeezes the cow, so the cow can't go forward, back, or side to side. Well, now its boobs are hanging down, and I go, okay, I don't think I want to do this anyway, but at least the damn thing would stand still. Grover, that was his name, Grover. So I said, Grover, can you show me how to do this? And he goes, well, sure. So he gets down there with a pail, and he's milking the cow away. Here comes my 17-year-old. And, hey, we're going to work tonight. The office is done. So anyway, he started milking the cow. Abigail. Jesus. Anywhere a child goes, there's just damn destruction. There's something in their blood. Not a girl. Thank you very much. See you later. So he got like almost a full bucket of milk. It's like, I don't know, 3 quarts or something. Maybe it was 2 gallons. I don't remember. Maybe it was 4 quarts and 2 gallons. Hey, that's bitchin', man. And it was raw milk. And if you know anything about milk, raw milk has all the cream in it, all the butter. You can make butter out of it. And it has all the bacteria in it. So if you refrigerate it, it's good for 2 or 3 days. After that, you better look for a cemetery. But we had a big family, and we drank milk like crazy. So he says, well, give it a try here. I'll give it a try. The barn ain't afraid. I was terrorized. So I'm doing this and and I got a little bit in the bottom of the bucket, and the cow kicked the bucket. Now, I don't mean the cow died. It kicked the damn bucket, and it goes across the barn. Milk goes everywhere. Grover's laughing, and I'm saying, Grover, how do you get the cow not to kick the milk? He says, I don't know. It only happens to certain people. So, I'm not a very good tit grabber, I guess. So he was a good friend. He came over every day in the morning, and every day. She needed to be milked twice a day at night. And we would get like 4 gallons of milk out of this cow and drink it all. And we made some butter and sour cream and all kinds of stuff that could come out of the cow. So that was a good deal. And if it hadn't been for Grover, the cow would have been bloated with milk like this and died like many of the others did. Now, the 10 in the field were full grown. And so they were pretty rugged, And I thought, well, I'm going to buy some baby calves, and they can grow up with these other big ones, and I'll have Bonanza, the Ponderosa in Oklahoma. I was up by Tulsa. There ain't nothing up there but weeds and tumbleweeds. So anyway, I go and I buy a calf. Now, I don't have a trailer. I don't have a trailer to take cows to auction and to market and all those kinds of things. So I put it in the back of my Malibu. I had beautiful yellow Malibu, 4-barrel, and I think it had a 327 in it. And I put the cow in the back. Now the cow didn't want to go in the back. But I said, you know, I'm master. You're a cow. And it was as big as a Great Dane. It was a good German Shepherd at least. So I'm driving along, and pretty soon I smell this smell. If that cow took a shit in the back of my Malibu, sure enough, it not only took a shit, but then it spread it all over the back seat, the headliner. It would dance on its back and do that, and then the back of the front seat. And I'm going, holy shit, how do I get into this? So I get it home, and I say to my kids, go clean the back of the car out, will you? What a father. What a father. So anyway, I bought, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. And, oh gosh, here comes my Abigail again. So I bought 3 or 4, and they were all babies. Now, I didn't know anything, and it showed, because the babies had to be fed bottles. I didn't know that. I know that human babies, you know, you got to feed them a bottle. But baby cows, they have to have a bottle. Or I guess a mother to suck on. And my wife wasn't going to go out there and offer a boob. So, the bitch. Anyway. Oh gosh, here comes Mercy. Anyway, they get a disease. I can't remember what the name of it is. You guys, you all know more than I do. I'm just the messengers. But these little calves get a disease, and it's called like baby disease or cattle disease or something. And 3 of them, I only had 3 of them, they died. Now they were like $300 a piece. There's $1,000 laying on the ground, and I'm out there with a shovel hitting them in the head and go, wake up, you bastard, you cost me money. And so anyway, the last one, I tried to save its life beyond life. You know, I administered to it. Back in those days, I was a Mormon. I pour a whole big bottle of, you know, anointed holy oil on the, and it started to die more. And then I laid my hands on it and said, live by the power of the priesthood. I need your money. And so it just kept laying there. So I dragged it into the house. And, you know, my wife is from Oklahoma, so this looked normal to her. And I put it in the kitchen, and I put one of those expandable wood round cages that you hold children in. I don't think they make those much anymore, because the kids would get hung up in them. But, you know, I had kids that I wanted to have hung up. But anyway, I put it in the kitchen. Well, now I'm feeding it like 3 times a day, sitting on the kitchen floor, and it's shitting everywhere in the house. And I'm saying, you know, this ain't the Cartwrights. This is not good. This is not Lake Tahoe. And we don't have a Ponderosa. We have a rented 10-acre ranch. I had chickens, and that wasn't bad. We went out and got the eggs from the chickens. That was good. That wasn't hard to do at all. The cow, Grover milked the cow. That was bitching. We had all the milk that we wanted. But the 3 calves died, and I said, Jesus, what if the big ones start dying? They were expensive, $500-600 a piece. So I borrowed a trailer, and I took them over to the auction. Now let me tell you something about an Oklahoma auction. Okay, if they see a Californian, and they got short pants on, and they don't have a cowboy hat, anything I brought in, they ain't gonna buy. So they're going $400, $500, $600 on the same cattle until mine came up. $100, $150, $151. Holy shit, I'm losing my ass here. And I did. I sold all 10 of them, and I must have gotten $10 or $15. So it wasn't Ben Cartwright. It wasn't Little Joe. It was more like Hoss. So anyway, I go home with my $10 or $12. I have dead cows, a horse you can't ride, a cow I can't milk in a million years, and calves that are dead laying all over the ranch. What do you do with a dead cow? I don't know. I didn't have a tractor to bury it, so what do you do? I don't know, let the vultures eat it. Well, then I had a bull. I bought a bull before I sold all of my cows, and I was going to have the bull screw the female cows, and he said he wasn't that kind of a bull. I said, bullshit, get out there and start screwing, I want more babies. Well, he breaks through the fence, okay? After he breaks through the fence, he goes down the road, and I mean down the road. When a bull is loose, you have your hands full, because you can't put out a piece of carrot or whatever. Come here, bull, come here. He'll knock you down, and then he will bull you. And I don't want that to happen, like Bubba Bull. So anyway, I have my neighbors, all the Oklahomans. They're good people that they help. They like to help each other, and I was from California, and they just thought it was funny shit. So they helped me capture my bull, fix my fence, and take it back in. Well, then we went to church one day in Oklahoma, and it was a branch. Of course, I had my garments on, and my wife and I were married in the temple, and my boys were priesthood holders and whatever, and we couldn't afford a white shirt for my kids. So one of them, I think, had on a blue shirt and a tie, and the branch counselor came in to me and he said, "How come your boys aren't in uniform?" I said, "What uniform? They're not in the military. They got to have white shirts. They got to." I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. These are my boys. I can put them in checkered shirts if I want. No. Has to be a white shirt and tie. Well, he and I, we didn't go well together, and I didn't have a car big enough to hold my family. And even in Oklahoma, when you strap children on the hood outside, the police ain't going to buy that in a million years. Okay, so anyway, this guy, another guy in the ward, donated to me a van, a white caravan van. Hey, that's bitchin'. It was a piece of shit. The motor smoke was rolling out the back, and it had no seats in it. And I couldn't afford to buy seats for the van, but I had to put my kids in there. Well, they'd roll around in the back. Spare tire would chase them. They'd hit each other with the tool wrench and the, what do you call that, the Ford wrench, the 4x4 wrench, take off the lug nuts with, and whatever else was back there would chase the kids. And, you know, I didn't want bruises on my kids, so I bought a park bench. Yeah, that was the cheapest way. I couldn't afford to put car seats in there, so I put a park bench in the back of the van, and you could put like 7 little kids on the park bench. Well, I didn't take the time, and I didn't have the tools, and probably the wherewithal to nail it down, you know, to the surface. So in Oklahoma, I stopped once and I said to the old boy, "How do you get to Miami?" There's a town in Oklahoma. He said, "You want to go on the paved road or on the gravel?" I said, "Hell, the paved road if you don't mind." When you get off on some of those dirt roads in Oklahoma and you got 7 kids in a park bench, it's abuse. It's, you know, you got 2 of them hanging after they've gone up. 2 are hanging and the bench is coming up and hitting them on the butt. That's some of my experiences. Now, I had a friend, and he wrote a check. He was from California. And if you bounce a check in Oklahoma, it's a felony. It's a felony if you bounce a check. Oh, the DA chased him and chased him and chased him. I never met an Oklahoman that didn't have a gun under the front seat of the car. Never met one. Always. Wind, rain, storms. God hates Oklahoma. Tornadoes would chase you around the yard. My son was in special ed, and I had him in school, and he had an IEP, an individual educational plan. And in Oklahoma, they sat him over in a corner with a coloring book. That was his education. That was his special ed. Well, I would try to go into a grocery store in Oklahoma, and I had on cutoffs, like I'm wearing right now, cutoffs, and I went in a couple of times barefooted. Oh my God. Oh my God, you should see the way the people treated me. Oh, that was totally unacceptable. And in California, you can go in a grocery store barefooted, a beach store down in Camarillo or Santa Barbara, whatever. But anyway, I had to learn to put shoes on, and but I would still keep my shorts on because I didn't want to lose my identity. I didn't want to look like them at all, and so I got invited to a county fair. Hey, that's going to be fun. That's kind of like an Oklahoma Disneyland. And so I got in line for the food, and Grover was there with me. He's my friend. He was older than I was, but he's my friend. We got up to the front there of the line there, and we were going to order the calf, C-A-L-F, the calf fries. And they were deep fried, like French fries. I thought, hey, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So I ordered my calf fries, and he ordered his little box. And we got out of line, and I said, Grover, what the hell is this? Calf fries, what is this? He says, oh, they're fried testicles. I'm from California. We don't fry testicles in California. We don't even have testicles at the grocery store. Is it, you can have my box too. You don't want them? I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want any calf fries. So anyway, I've had my experiences in Oklahoma. People shooting each other all the time. Cars that don't start. The football games. Everybody in Oklahoma is kind of like the FLDS. They screw all their brothers and sisters. All the mothers are hoarders. You can't even open the door in most of their houses. Going to a mobile home, the roof is not there. And, you know, kids are laying in beds that are soaking wet. It's filthy. It's hot. Now, I did have an experience. My wife's brother let us stay overnight with him once. And he built the house himself, and he was a pretty good little carpenter. So we all moved into his living room and started to sleep on the floor for the night. And I could hear this shit all over. And what the hell is that? And so I got so curious, and I'm a father. I have to protect my family. So I turned on the light. I never saw so many cockroaches in my life. It looked like cockroach heaven. It looked like the celestial kingdom of cockroaches. They all had on little garments. I thought, holy shit. But when you turn the lights off, they run behind the couch and behind the refrigerator, and the floor is clean again. So I thought, well, maybe they'll stay there, because I'm from the city. I thought, they'll stay there. So I turned the light off, and I'm laying there. In about 20 minutes, I hear the same noises. I get up, turn on the light, they all came out again. They were resurrected, they came out. So I thought, well, maybe we ought to just sleep with the lights on, and me sitting in the chair, throwing one experience. Now, Grover, when I first moved into Oklahoma, I didn't have enough money for mouse traps. And Grover said, you don't need mouse traps. And I said, really? How do you do this? And so he had kerosene lamps. And we set up a couple of kerosene lamps in my home. And then he and I sat there, and he took his boots off. I didn't think anything of it. And a mouse comes running across the floor. Bam! He throws the boot. The mouse goes dead against the wall. He says, see, you don't need mouse traps. Take your shoes off. I wanted to be part of the group. I don't want to be, you know, eccentric. So, I take my shoes off. And Grover and I sat there for like an hour and a half throwing shoes at mice. And I was getting pretty good. I hit one or two. But Grover, he'd hit them every time. The Oklahoma people, they're used to that shit. So anyway, bugs, mice, rats, liars. If you don't have 3 DUIs, you ain't from Oklahoma. I can tell you that right now. And, you know, cars with flat tires, cars with no engines in them, redneck kind of intelligence. And, you know, if you don't shoot tobacco, Obama, I forget. How do you say that? Chew. If you don't, and spit runs down your front of you, you ain't a man. You ain't a man. So, anyway. between the fried testicles, calf fries, and some of my other experiences, I decided to move on out of Oklahoma. So anyway, what this is all about, I forgot, I got a link down below. Let me set the link up. I'm not surprised, because nothing in Oklahoma surprises you. The Baptist church, oh my God, raising their arms up like that with a true order of prayer, I don't know. Anyway, there's a guy, and there's a link down below. The two of them were drinking, and that's so common in Oklahoma. If you're not a drunk, and you're not a liar, a cheater, a thief, and you're not cutting testicles off for calf fries, you're nothing. So they're drinking, and I guess they got into a fight. Now, in Oklahoma, most of the fights end up with gunshots, and you don't know where the bullets are going to end up. Not this one, okay? One of the guys grabbed the other guy's underwear and stretched it over his head and his neck in what we used to call an atomic wedgie. Now, that's funny enough, because if you have testicles after atomic wedgie, you don't anymore. They've laid on the ground now. They're gone. And the penis is going, and he says, I can't breathe, I can't stop. You know, I was always afraid in high school I was going to get an atomic wedgie, but I never did. Well, anyway, it's like capital punishment in Oklahoma, an atomic wedgie. The guy died. The guy, his underwear choked him to death, and he died. And now the other guy is up for manslaughter. That it was an accidental death, but it was definitely a testicle death. But the old boy died. And so anyway, I just wanted to tell you my experiences in Oklahoma. I'm going to back them up here with a link that the atomic wedgie is a form of capital punishment. Hasn't been to the Supreme Court if it's cruel and unusual, but I can tell by looking at kids in school, when they got an atomic wedgie, it appeared to be cruel and unusual. So anyway, I'm going to pray for those kids. Pele el, oh God, hear the words of my mouth 3 times, the true order of prayer, and I certainly are not going to slit your throat, cut your heart out, or cut your guts out. Those punishments are too gentle. I'm going to wedgie you to death. And when you say to me, I come back to Oklahoma a lot of times, and people say, hey, it's Sir David the Bard, how you doing? I go, hey, health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins and sinews, power in the priesthood, be upon me and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout all eternity. How are you doing? Hey, that's how they communicate back there. This Bard's gone.